Hello everyone. In the last video, what did we discover? Okay, we discovered that certain scientists performed certain experiments on brain parts and they found that they are related to certain brain functions. Okay, and in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a summarized result of all the brain parts, conclusions of the research of the scientist, and how each brain part is connected to what type of function. So without further ado, let's start. This is the summary of the results that I'm going to give to you, which was years of research of all the scientists. So what did they find out that when you take an embryo, which is on the top side, you discover that it grows in a certain form. It first starts with as a neural tube, and then certain brain parts start to form like spinal cord, hindbrain, midbrain, forebrain, and then there would call it kind of division of brain parts that comes later on. So it kind of starts from the bottom up. It starts with the spinal cord, then brainstem forms, and then forebrain forms, and each of these section contain different brain parts. And we are going to cover them in same manner. We will first start with the brainstem, and then we're going to start with the forebrain. Okay, and what functions each part in that area performs. So yeah, let's go. So this is the basic division of brain. Okay, it's a start from bottom up, and this is the brain stem. Okay, so let's start. Brain stem contains hindbrain and midbrain, and so let's start with the brain stem. Okay, so brain stem is a structure that connects brain to the spinal cord. Okay, there's spinal cord in your back, and there is a head, and connecting both is your brain stem neurologically. Okay, so brain stem has following parts: medulla, pons. Yep, these are the main parts of the brainstem, and all the cranial nerves come into your pons. You know, all the nerves that connect your brain to other body parts directly are through pons in your hindbrain. Okay, cool. So, yep, let's go. So, cranial nerves nuclei. So obviously, all the cranial nerves we know that they come in through the pons, and here is a diagram that shows which type of nerve is connected to which brain part. So there are sensory nerves and there are motor nerves, and they are connected to different body parts, and those all different body parts are connected directly to your brain through pons in your hindbrain. Okay, yeah, that is clear. Okay, cool. Now we can go to the table that gives us the summary of the structures. So hindbrain contains medulla, pons, and cerebellum, and medulla contains reticular formation, cranial nerves nuclei. So reticular formation is related to arousal. Okay, and cranial nerves nuclei, we know that they kind of uh, contain as a ports of information for sensory and motor uh, signals through different body parts and directly to your brain. Okay, cochlear nucleus, it is related to your audition or hearing ability. It is connected to your ear. Vestibular, it is also connected to your ear, and it is related to balance. Raphe nucleus, it is connected to your sleep. And locus coeruleus, it is also connected to sleep. And cerebellum, it is connected to motor coordination or balance. Okay, so the main parts here are medulla, reticular formation, pons, and other nucleus that I have labeled, and cerebellum. These are the main parts and their main functions as well. So let's start with midbrain. Okay, so midbrain has two main parts, tegmentum and tectum. Okay, and what function do those parts perform, and what other structures do those parts contain? So tegmentum contains cranial nerve nuclei. Okay, they contain gray, they contain red nucleus nigra, and these are the functions: motor functions related to addictions, pain. Yep, and tectum contains two, what do you call it, colliculi. Okay, superior and inferior. Superior is related to vision and eye movements, and inferior is related to audition. So one nerve is coming from your ear and one is coming from your eyes, and they kind of integrate or pass through parallelly through tactum. Okay, now we can go to the forebrain. So forebrain has two hemispheres, and those hemispheres are connected by a corpus callosum, as we have discussed, and there are four lobes, which are kind of broad divisions or foldings of your cortex. And there's frontal lobe that is connected to higher cognitive functions like executive or motor functions. Parietal lobes is connected to tactile functions. Occipital is related to vision, and temporal is related to vision, auditory, or gustatory, which means chemical senses. Okay, so three are sensory or motor, and one. Okay, three are sensory and one is motor. The one that is motor is frontal lobe, and the other three are sensory. Parietal, occipital, and temporal lobe are sensory lobes broadly. Yep. The other simplified diagram is this. Yep. So let's go with the forebrain first. Okay. Its major part is cerebral cortex, and it is divided into four lobes. Frontal lobe, Broca's area, obviously related to speech production. Motor cortex, movement. Prefrontal cortex, thinking, personality. Yep. Parietal lobe. This contains somatosensory sensory cortex. It is related to sensations or integrating sensations, experience of sensations you get. Yep. Temporal lobe, audition, which means processing sounds. Vernix area, which is comprehension of language, whether the person is able to understand the language or not. Hippocampus, it is related to memory formation, because once hippocampus is removed, you cannot form memories, or you get some form of amnesia. Okay. Occipital, it is connected to vision. Okay, processing visual information. So, yep, that's the main function of cerebral cortex of forebrain. Now we move forward to other parts. So, what do we have here? We have hypothalamus, which contains pituitary gland, and then we have thalamus, which kind of integrates information of sounds and vision that you get from your ear and eyes. Okay. Then we have limbic system, and limbic system contains the following parts. Okay. So what are the parts of the limbic system? Obviously, we labeled them through diagram. Now we are going to kind of, through experimentation or researches, we found out that amygdala uh, is related to emotions. Okay. Hippocampus is related to memory. Okay. Thalamus is related to uh, as a relay center where both sensory and motor information kind of goes through, and it is also regulates your alertness. Hypothalamus, it is related to controlling your automatic processes or functions like hunger, thirst, body temperature, and it also kind of influences pituitary gland. And cingulate gyrus, it is related to emotion or pain processing. Yep. The other part we have is basal ganglia. Again, it contains thalamus, coccygeal nuclei, amygdala. Okay. So basal ganglia contains following part. Now we have a lateral section or view of brain. Uh, so basal ganglia has following parts. Clouded nucleus. Okay, what does it do? Okay, it regulates voluntary motor movements, habits, habit formation, procedural learning, skill learning, stuff like that. It is related to that. Putamen, it is related to motor skills or learning. And globus pallidus, it is also related to voluntary movement. Okay, so basically basal ganglia plays an important part in habit formation, and yep, it's all part of forebrain. So the more automatic and motor functions or related to sensations and motor functions are in your hindbrain. Midbrain is kind of a way of transporting or processing them primarily, and the higher levels of processing or integration of information happens in forebrain. So yeah, so you move. from brainstem to the forebrain, and so does the complexity of functions also increase, in which multiple parts are related, even to the singular functions. Okay, so that that is what you call it, the conclusions of the researches so far, in which we kind of uh, in which I summarized all those researches here, and this is where the questions are asked, like, okay, if this brain part, which is brain parts related to which type of function and stuff like that. So yeah, so these were the context I provided you through my what do you call it, through my research. Like, okay, how did we came up to the conclusion that how certain brain part is related to certain brain function? Obviously, I didn't did it for every brain part, and the reason for that is this, that it will take too much space and it will be what call it overcrowded. It will make it overcrowded. So I kind of try to keep it simplified, mention the main researchers, their conclusions, and certain researches on which brain part performs which function. And obviously, by following the same process over and over again, different researchers in different parts of the world came up with kind of a different specific conclusions about different brain parts, and then we just integrated all of that in a summarized form that we study in our textbooks and stuff like that. So yep, that's all I will say. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. And if you like the video, do share. Do let me know what you think about my presentation, how it can be improved. And bye.